How's it going, everyone? I am back with another video. This is going to be my Patriots Week 2 recap video where I'm going to break down the game that my team, the beloved Patriots, played against the Dolphins this past Sunday. Break down my thoughts, my interpretations, my takeaways, all that good stuff. So, just dive straight in here. So, right off the bat, I guess obviously a good place to start is we won the game, so already a better start than last week against the Raiders. Our offense looked a lot better. Our a concern we have, or I have rather, a lot of New England fans have, is our defense. But I'll talk about the positives to start here. As I mentioned, the offense was clicking. Drake May played great this game. There was a lot of chatter, at least in the New England media, about is Drake May? People were questioning after one game, is Drake May like really the guy? So, after all the hype he got, then one sort of shaky performance, you can say, from week one, even though the whole team was kind of shaky. But he bounced back great in this game, so hopefully that puts, at least for the time being, that chatter to rest. He only had 4 incompletions. He had a clean pocket most of the game. I saw a stat that he had this is like the cleanest pocket and like best pass pro or best pass protection he's had in his NFL career, and he absolutely lit it up. Obviously, big Stevenson game. He played really well in this game. He had a big catch on 3rd and 3 when the Dolphins had momentum that really gave us the momentum back. That's where a bunch of his receiving yards came from. There, he had 88 receiving yards. So big Stevenson game. A lot of Patriots fans down on him, on Henderson, but Stevenson's still really, really good back for us, especially in this game. Gibson had another momentum play for us. Big kickoff return touchdown, as you can see in the second thumbnail picture here. The only thing that sucked our offense was us with penalties, pretty much. Mike Vrabel said pretty much the same thing in his press conference after the game. Which, the Dolphins defense is abysmal 2 games into the season, so you can argue that, but still. It was the first time we put up 30 plus since 2022, I believe, is the stat I saw circulating around. So that's good on our part. Let's see. So yeah, that was. Our offense was great. Went right down the field, touchdown to start the game, forced a 3-and-out, and I'm like, yep, here we go. We scored another touchdown, and I'm like, here we go. Booty made a ridiculous catch. He had a quiet game outside of that catch, but it was an absolutely insane catch. And this is a concern I have. Borregales, our kicker, missed 2 extra points this game. He missed one after the first touchdown and the second touchdown. That is now 3 missed kicks he's had 2 games into the season. He missed a field goal against the Raiders, too. Now, to his credit, he did make the big 50, I want to say 3-yarder. It was 50 something. I want to say it was 53 off the top of my head. I might not be 100% right there. But to give us a 6-point lead with like a minute and a half left, somewhere around there on the clock at the end of the game. I don't know. My gut kind of is telling me he was going to make it. I don't know why. It's kind of the same thing with Chad Ryland against Denver 2 years ago. Chad Ryland was a disaster for us most of the year, but once he lined up for that kick against Denver, my gut's like, all right, this is going to go in. I just have a feeling. So thankfully, Ryland gave us that win, and then Borregales gave us the 6-point lead late. What else? What else? Pass protection, as I mentioned, was a lot better this game. Emphasis running the ball. I believe, actually had more run attempts than pass attempts. Let me see here. Wow, Drake May had 10 rushes. Well, if you count May's rushes, we had more rush attempts than pass attempts this game. So an emphasis for Josh McDaniels was to run the ball more, balance things out. That's exactly what he did. So I like to see that in this game. As I mentioned, Stevenson actually was our leading receiver. He had 88 yards on the day. Besides that, we had a pretty even spread of the ball there. Honestly, not much from the receivers. Just nice even spread, not too much yardage, but nice even spread there. A lot of guys just made one catch. So yeah, so that's kind of so offense. Very happy with how we played. That's my big takeaway. Looked very smooth. I think we're just going to get better and better. There'll be some weeks where we look like this game, and then there'll be some weeks where we probably look like week one, then some weeks where it's in between. New system. That's kind of what you expect throughout the year. The line, it's sort of the same thing. This was a good week. Last week was an iffy week. There'll probably be some bad weeks, some in between. So our line will probably be a project as the year goes on. I was pleased with it. This game, um, yeah, defense, as I mentioned, I wouldn't say I'm too concerned, but the defense has not played well 2 games into the season. Now, we only allowed 20 to the Raiders week one, but Geno was slinging the ball on us up and down the field. We could not stop him. And then we just saw against the Chargers, they looked terrible, but Geno played awful against the Chargers. They scored 9 points. So there's that. I mean, then the Dolphins looked like the worst team in NFL history against the Colts. And in this game, Tua had like 6 incompletions off the top of my head. Yeah, 6 incompletions that entire game. And after the first drive when we forced a 3-and-out, it felt like we could not stop them after that. There was a sequence before the half when we got a field goal. We were up 15-7, and the Dolphins marched right down the field. That was just an awful defensive drive. A bunch of tackling issues for us this game. It was pissing me off so much. Honestly, I kind of expected the Dolphins to have a decent amount of success. It's a week-to-week league. All the noise after the first week, they looked god-awful. I don't. My gut kind of just was telling me a bit that they'll bounce back offensively. Have at least a decent game. We always have trouble with him for whatever reason. This is the first time we've beaten him since he's been in the league since he started. We beat the Dolphins when he was in the league, but since he started the game is the first time we've beaten Tua. Thank God, because most of the games he's beaten us, especially the first couple of years, he did very little and kept winning the games, and it was so fucking annoying seeing the stat that he's undefeated against us. And, he's the only quarterback to beat Bill Belichick X amount of time. Freaking ridiculous. Thank God that's over with. Mike Vrabel now 3-0 against Tua, though. The Dolphins didn't really have a run game. That's one good thing is our defensive line. Week one, we actually lead the league in sacks now. Week one, we got Geno Smith a bunch, pressured him a bunch, got a good amount of sacks. This game, we got our defensive line Tua was getting the ball quick, so we didn't really get a lot of sacks. How many did we get, actually? We got one, Milton Williams, at the end of the game. Actually, we got 5 sacks. It's more than I thought off the top of my head. But running, we didn't really allow too much. Dolphins didn't really have too much of a run game. Receiving, typical game for the Dolphins. Hill, Waddle, big days. A-Chain, he's an underrated receiving option. Checks it down. Tua does him a lot of screens. And then, a couple catches for the rest of their receivers there. When I'm rooting against the Dolphins, which is obviously most weeks, being a Patriots fan, and obviously especially in this game that we're playing them, it is so infuriating when A-Chain gets a check down and it goes like he gets a good amount of yardage. It's so infuriating. The play at the end of the game, the last couple plays where Tua got A-Chain and they ruled it a touchdown to give the Dolphins the lead, I think a blood vessel burst in my forehead. I was so pissed off that we could not tackle, especially because Grant on the punt return, that was another multiple missed tackles on that. Thankfully, A-Chain was out of bounds, though, and as I mentioned, a couple plays later, Milton Williams got the sack to ice the game, give us the win there. To open the half, it was 3rd and I want to say 14, and Tua launched it deep, and per usual, underthrows a deep pass and gets bailed out by Hill. I don't know how we didn't at least bat the pass down. That was ridiculous. Our corners were getting torched most of the game, besides Carlton Davis. Had some issues with that week 1, too. We really need Gonzalez back. We're a heavy man coverage team. And, when you're missing your top corner, even though I like Alex Austin, and we're putting our linebackers in coverage, Spillane, I saw a stat, he's covered, he's struggled in man coverage. I think he allowed like 7 of 8 or 8 of 9 passes is the stat I saw in this game. So, once we get Gonzalez back, hopefully that's a bit of a boost. But yeah, I mean, and also Tua did miss Tyreek late. He was open, he missed him. Then a couple years later, turned back into Tua, turned the ball over, and he turned it over on a fourth down. Actually, who the hell picked him off? It might have been Spillane off the top of my head. I'm not 100% sure. Um, was it Mapu? One of those two, I think. I'll check in a second here. But yeah, I'll go over the team stats. No, I get to see who picked him off now. This is bothering me here. Let's see. Yeah, it was Marte Mapu. I knew it. I knew it. Gibson, 171 yards off the kickoff return. Obviously, a bunch of them came in the 90-yard kick return he had. Yeah, that was it. Bryce Behringer had a really nice punt. It was on the Jakeem Grant touchdown, but he was in the end zone and he booted it to like the opposing 30-yard line. So that was a really good punt. Obviously, it didn't matter because our kickoff routine kickoff return team was a disaster on that play. But yeah, I'll go to the stats here. Yeah, pretty even in a lot of stats. The Dolphins again, enough, almost 7 yards per play, 6.9, nice. We're at 6.1. Pretty close in a lot of stats here. They honestly did a lot worse on third down than I thought. We were pretty efficient on third down, over 50% there. Yeah, penalties, 22 accepted penalties. So that was, sloppy from both teams. We obviously got to clean that up. Won the time possession battle by a decent amount, over 7 minutes. Yeah, close in a lot of stats here. So I mentioned rushing, pretty happy there. We had 122 rush yards. Exactly doubled the Dolphins rushing total. So yeah, I was pretty happy from this game. The Dolphins are terrible. I think, spoiler alert, they're probably going to get absolutely slaughtered in Buffalo tonight. And they very well might just blow everything up after that. There was a report that came out that if they lose tonight, they may just fire Mike McDaniel. So you have to imagine, even if they miraculously somehow win tonight, that he'll still be fired soon. If it's week 3 and he's already in the hot seat, then it's really hard to imagine he survives the season. Very well. I mean, yeah, in less than a day, there's a decent chance I think he's on the unemployment line, but we'll have to see. But anyway, yeah, obviously, sorry, I just got sidetracked. And my point was, you can say the Dolphins are a disaster. They are, probably will be most of this year, if not the entire season. But division rival, we always have trouble with them in Miami specifically, even dating back to the Brady days. Week to week league, as I mentioned, Tua was undefeated against us. We were missing our top corner, Gonzalez. He was practicing. Hopefully he's back this week against the Steelers. That'd be a boost for us. Yeah, division rival. So, close game. But I wouldn't at face value be like, oh, well, they only beat the god awful Dolphins by 6 points. It's a bit more than that. I think. But anyway, very happy we won the game. Very happy with the offense. Defense could have cleaned some things up. At least, that last drive, Milt Williams got that clutch sack. I feel like in crunch time, outside of that Tua pass to A-Chain that originally was ruled a touchdown, he went out of bounds. Their defense played pretty good in crunch time. So yeah, good. We very much needed this win. We did not obviously want to fall to 0-2, especially there's a very good chance they lose to the Steelers this week. So we would have been 0-3. Obviously that happened. So obviously this win gave us a lot more leeway. So yeah, much needed win. Very happy we got the win. Hopefully when we play them again later in the season, which again I think there's a good chance the team is blown up by then and McDaniel might be gone. Hopefully Gonzalez is back, so we have our top 2 corners, take away those deep shots. At least, the frequency the Dolphins were getting. But yeah, very happy with the team, very happy with this win. Uh, good bounce back win after a flat kind of lethargic performance, especially in the second half against the Raiders last week. Very much needed the win. We got it. Offense looked good. Defense again, a lot to improve there. Special teams. Oh boy, we need to obviously tighten that up, but that Gibson return was hype. Big play there. Jeremy Springer is a really good special teams coach. I'm not too concerned there. What else? What else? What else? Um, blanking here. Yeah, just very happy with the win. Hopefully we can build off of it. Uh, Again, very optimistic on this year in general, especially after this bounce back win. If we had lost this one, I would have been concerned. Not necessarily because it's to the god awful Dolphins. That might have been a part of it, but more the fact that we're 0-2 and a decent chance at 0-3. So again, as I keep repeating myself here, much needed win. But yeah, very pleased with the win. Excited to play the Steelers this week. So yeah, those are my main takeaways from this game. I'm gonna probably record my week 2 recap shortly here, but for now, I will end this video here. So hopefully, if you're a Pats fan, obviously you're optimistic after this game, after the win, even though a lot to clean up. Hopefully, after watching this video, can make you more optimistic on the season moving forward here in this game. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you for tuning in, and take it easy, guys.